Welcome to Sundays with Scott, a weekly video commentary that's a preview of the full Monty newsletter, where you'll get commentary, trivia, the bow tie of the week, and more. And now, here's your host, Scott Monty. All right, how's that? So this is the new format for Sundays with Scott. As you can see, I've changed it up a little. If you've been with me previously, you'll see that we're in another corner of my office. I'm actually using a webcam rather than my phone. So it's a little bit different of a format. I'm trying some third-party software. Obviously, trying a little bit of intro there as well. But I wanted to talk to you about a few things that are on my mind tonight as we get ready for the full Monty newsletter, which comes out tomorrow, Monday morning. If you don't subscribe yet, get on over to scottmonty.com and hit that subscribe button. So before we start out, as usual, I just wanted to let people know that we do have trivia. And a big hi hello to the people I've seen comment so far, because I'm following this not on my phone but on Facebook on the web. So hi to Courtney and Deb and Charlene and Gary and Sheila and a few others as you've submitted your comments. I'll try to keep up as best I can. I saw Ward Hamilton tune in there, so thank you, Ward. And I will try to keep up with the commentary as best as I can. So, trivia tonight. We always start out with trivia, as you know. And this time around, the trivia is related to the politics of the week. So with the advent of Brexit this week, what other names were given to or suggested for EU exits should other countries from the European Union decide to leave as well? If you know any of those clever names, leave them in a comment below, and would love to hear from you. So, hey, Mom and Dad, glad to see you there. And hey, Chris Brogan, glad to have you here, my friend. And just a word about the bow tie of the week. It is seersucker with green fish. So just thought we would dive right into the summer here. It was an absolutely sweaty day here. And it's showing. So seersucker is the watchword of the day. Looks like Mark Vines, hi Mark, and Eric Joseph have a couple of suggestions there. De Portugal and A Portugal. Those are great. Keep them coming. So wanted to talk about a few things this week. The first, as we are talking about politics already, we live in probably more of a global society than we have in an awfully long time. The advent of particularly social media and of all digital communications have linked us together inextricably across the globe. I think it's exposed a lot more commonalities among people all across the world, certainly across the United States and beyond. It's uncovered some unsavory things about the commonalities that we have together, as we've seen with Cheeto Jesus joining in as the Republican presumed nominee. But it also shows the good side of people and how they are willing to band together across borders to make sure that things happen. So Brexit and the decision coming out of the UK vote absolutely showcases these commonalities, and still we've got a lot of people freaking out because there's a lot of uncertainty, and that's understandable. But we also have it within us to continue to link together across the seas, across the continents. So we will see where this leaves us in the future if humans can overcome the human foibles, the poor decisions that we've made in some cases, as Brexit would have us believe. I think there's great power in the ability for people to connect with one another and to share ideas and to share common bonds. Although we've seen this retreat, this nationalism, which again is also a very human kind of thing. People know what's local. They know what's around them. They feel most comfortable in their own environment. So this push and pull between globalism and nationalism is certainly understandable. Meanwhile, we have the ability to communicate with each other to work out some of these differences. So thanks for the comments. We've seen It'll Leave. Thank you, Frank. Check Out. That's also another good one. Tom Hone says Australia, although it's not a European one. If it leaves AU, it can just become Australia. Chris Brogan says Finnish. I saw a few others as well, but I can't. Let me just see. I'm having trouble seeing all of the comments on the stream here on the here we go. I've changed the view on the web. Hey, Karen Cooks, glad to see you here. Susie Sharp says Regrets. That's a good one. And speaking of Finnish, Dan York, I'm glad you're here. I'm using OBS, the OBS project, obsproject.com as software to pull all of this together. It took a little bit of doing, but managed to make it work in the end. So I hope it's worth it. Also have an outro, so if you folks stick around, you can see the end result there. So wanted to get on to another topic that is on my mind this week. Interestingly, I mean, we're on Facebook Live right now. We're talking about Facebook Live. You obviously don't need to be convinced that video is the way of the future. Well, when you look at some of the other developments that we've seen happen, particularly over the last week, it really is a week in video updates. A couple of the ones that I saw that made it apparent to me is that, first of all, eMarketer in its latest report says that digital video advertising will grow at annual double digits, right? So you're going to see more media poured into video, particularly online video. And Amazon spent an awful lot of money on streaming, and it has actually paid off for them because they've actually gotten themselves into contention for one of the top users or the top streaming companies out there, obviously along with Netflix and YouTube. Amazon has actually taken third place now for downstream usage. Netflix at 35.15%, YouTube at 17.53%, and Amazon Video now at 4.26%. So we're seeing more of an uptick on video from Amazon. But the big news, of course, this week is that Facebook announced that it is preparing for two-person broadcasts. So not only will you still be able to experience this thrilling talking head single-person video that you've been accustomed to, but now, like Skype originated, there will be two-way video conversations. And I would imagine that before too long you'll see multiple seats added to that, so making it competitive with other video chat systems out there, such as Blab or some of the other ones. I'm not necessarily up to speed on all of these, but I'm sure those of you that use some of the other systems will be familiar with it. In addition, this week, Tumblr also announced that it's getting into live video. So there is that. And Twitter, again, is making a big video push. It's actually expanded the length of its Vine videos and its videos right on Twitter to 140 seconds. So a little over 2 minutes there for Vine and Twitter videos, showing the importance that Twitter places on video. Vine, of course, previously was only restricted to 6 seconds. So it should tell you something if Twitter is making it 140 seconds, how important they view video as storytelling and as a medium for sharing. So Facebook certainly one of the ones that is advancing the push here the most. So we will see more and more of that. Deb Evans says that YouTube is opening live stream too. I think we've had that with Google+, but it didn't take off really on the Google+ platform, but it utilized YouTube as the back end. So I think you'll be seeing more of that coming from Google, from YouTube, directly under their brand names. And yes, of course, Susie, this week at the House of Representatives, when coverage shut off on C-SPAN due to the final gavel being hit. That's, of course, C-SPAN does gavel-to-gavel coverage, and when that happened, their video feed cut out. So some enterprising member of the House pulled up Periscope and C-SPAN pulled up Periscope, an enterprising member of the House pulled up Facebook Live. So we were actually able to see what goes on behind the scenes in Congress after the gavel has been hit. So that was a really exciting and interesting use of live video, I thought, throughout this week. And Chris Brogan, I absolutely share your sentiment. I can't wait for this to come out either. I've been doing live Sunday night videos here since last September. That's when I started out here. And I only got into the desktop streaming just this week with OBS software. So I'll be experimenting. I hope you will too. I've been seeing a lot more live video feeds coming up in my timeline from folks. So wanted to see some other comments here. So let's see. Yeah, Susie, that's interesting. I wonder if I could have like a second banana or a co-host here, and if we can toggle between views, if you can just view one person at a time, or if it has to be fixed on two people. Could be interesting to watch that all roll out. So I will be certainly be following that. Mike Stelzner, glad you're here. Thank you for tuning in. Pat Dean, you make an excellent point. We've got 360-degree videos that Facebook has been pushing as well. You don't need 360-degree cameras to do that. You can do that with the panoramic function on your smartphone. So I think the more opportunities that we have for not only individuals but small businesses to to use these tools and to use them relatively pain-free. We want to make this as easy as possible for people. I think you'll be seeing more and more video out there. And of course, one of the Facebook representatives at a conference in Europe last week said that she thought that in 5 years you would only be seeing video in your Facebook stream. I think that's a little extreme because I don't think everyone is a video user, but as the tools get easier, as Facebook looks to ways to make it frictionless for people to share video, we will continue to see that in the future. So you folks have been very kind with your trivia answers. I wanted to mention, in addition to the ones that you've mentioned, like Departure and Italy and Check Out and Finish, there's also Grexit, there's Slovak Out, Austria, Latvia, Belgium, and only, of course, Romania will stay. This is almost hearkening back to the dad jokes from last week. I don't know if I can take it anymore. Anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for tuning in on this new format of Sundays with Scott. If you want to get the full feed of what I send out as far as links, commentary, updates, and everything you need to know to start your week out right with business intelligence, check out the full Monty newsletter on my website. I'll give you the subscription instructions in just a minute. And until next time, this is Scott Monty saying I'll see you on the internet.